I went on the Manchester March against anti-Semitism last month,
Yes.
and it opened my eyes when I was sat down at the stadium at the end listening to speeches. The march was started by Lisa Nandy, Labour MP for Wigan.
She's the one who says men can be women, isn't she?
Yes. So she's a far left nutcase.
But she was on the anti-Israeli march.
Anti-Semitism
Well,
march.
as Sadiq Khan said, the Labour Party is both anti-racist and anti-Semitic.
Yes, such an idiot. Oh, so true.
I think that was a really good Freudian slip.
So she led the march, and when I saw her leading the march, I thought, what is this organisation doing, as in the Manchester Jewish organisation doing, inviting her? Labour have a problem.
Yeah.
Why are they inviting her, and why is she leading the march? And I thought, well, I don't really understand. But I was thinking about it for the next hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then I sat down at the Castlefield Arena, and there were some speeches, and she gave a speech, and I'm watching her speech, and I'm thinking, and then I finally, not because of what she said, I finally got it. Why she was invited, why other Labour members were invited, why the people from the Manchester Jewish organisation on their speeches were praising the Labour Party and the Tory Party, and why other people were praising some Labour MPs, and I finally got it. They're terrified. And I thought, I get this now. These Jewish people are absolutely terrified about who takes power next.
That's interesting.
And they cannot afford to upset anybody. They cannot afford to be anti-Labour, because Labour looks like it's getting in.
Yeah.
Why would we want to upset the Labour Party? We already know they're full of anti-Semites. Why would we publicly insult them? And the more I listen to these speeches, the more I realise this proportion of our population are absolutely petrified of what's coming next. And part of this will be learned behaviour over centuries, rightly so.
Yeah.
Because they've been in these situations in other countries before.
Yeah.
And they realise we can't afford to stick our head above the parapet and criticise anybody, because they're already after us. We need to convince these people we're not a danger, we're not a threat, we're not against them, and then maybe some of them will protect us when the Gestapo knock on our door. And it made me understand what it was like to be a Jew a little bit more than I ever thought of before.
So, and it's interesting, you mentioned the Gestapo, and I was actually going to reference the Nazis. The problem is referencing the Nazis is always a kind of go-to, isn't it? But do you think the same thing, and it's a horrible parallel to draw, do you think the same thing was happening in 1933 in Nazi Germany? Do you think the Jewish community initially were trying to appease, it was called the Nazi Party, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think they tried to appease and make bonds with the Nazi Party before it escalated?
They absolutely did.
Yeah.
We had Jewish businesses supplying arms to the Nazis. We had Jewish members of the Nazi Party. Some of these Jewish people at the beginning were pro-Germany, and the Nazis were completely pro-Germany.
Yeah.
So they bought into it at the beginning.
Yeah.
It started changing as Hitler got more and more power. And I'm sure, I've seen some documentaries on it, even when things were getting bad, some Jewish people, were still saying it's not that bad and we'll be okay. He's only persecuting the lower Jews. He's only persecuting them because they were anti-Nazis. That's why he was persecuting them. So as humans, sometimes we try to rationalise ourselves out of problems, hoping...
I think that's very common. I think people don't want to face often a brutal reality like that.
Especially when, even if you admit it to yourself, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, yeah.
So, a Jew in 1930s Germany couldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
So the best scenario is keep your mouth shut and your head down, and hopefully we'll be okay. So with hindsight, we look back and go, you did what? But don't forget, people in the 1930s didn't know there was a Holocaust coming.
Well, I think, you know, people always say they're brave, and there's a very classic photo of a bunch of Nazis all doing the Nazi
That's
salute.
Nuremberg and one.
And there's one guy with his arm down, and everybody looks at that picture and says, yeah, that would have been me. I would have, yeah. The reality is people conform, and I think we saw that, and I know it's a subject you don't like to talk about. I think we saw that during the lockdowns, during COVID.
During BLM?
Yeah, during BLM. For me, COVID, and I know BLM was in the middle of COVID, but COVID to me was actually the first time, part of the thing that's changed my viewpoint of the world, I think, was seeing how people conformed to horrific infringement of civil liberties and free speech. It was shocking to me how people accepted that, conformed and supported it.
Yeah. If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.